Hey everyone, my name is Shannon Boyer, and my focus for the leadership presentation was on servanthood. So I'm going to just jump right into it. And as we read in our book, servanthood was most exemplified by Mr. Abraham Lincoln, pictured here. In addition, in my research, I found Mother Teresa, which comes as no surprise since she was such a great advocate for the destitute and the dying and cared for them for many, many years. And then this man, I'm sure you recognize his face, Nelson Mandela, who fought the apartheid in South Africa for many years as well. And then I thought it would be interesting to focus on companies who also practice servanthood. So I want to share with you a little bit about that. The very first one is a company called SAS. And SAS is actually the top company to work for in the United States. And part of that is because of their balanced lives. They really believe in employees having a very balanced life, and they're committed to it. So they want the employee experience to be meaningful work. They want to empower their employees to make a difference in their communities and in their workplace. And they also expect world-class thinking inspires innovation. So they give their employees a lot of autonomy to make decisions. And so this creates a very servant-driven mindset for this company. So I thought that was really interesting to include. As well, Zappos, I'm sure most of you are familiar with the shoe company Zappos. They are willing to take a loss. I mean, they believe in their company policies so much that they're willing to lose the sale. And so Zappos is very interested in just serving the customer and doing what it takes. That's what they're all about. And they also have holacracy. And holacracy was a little bit of a new term for me, but the authority to make decisions without the traditional management structure. So that really gives their employees autonomy. So there's some current, reoccurring themes that employees can make a difference and make decisions on their own that would typically be more engineered towards the traditional management. And then REI, most of you are familiar with REI. They are a purpose-driven company, and REI employees are given a lot of autonomy. Again, there's that word. They're given a lot of autonomy to make decisions on their own, and they also are always thinking about what is their purpose in their mission. And their purpose is to get people outdoors and have and create sustainable living outdoors. So every decision that they make is made with that very purpose. So it kind of brought me around to thinking about my own examples and what I do in my career. And I have a long history of servanthood personally. I've worked for the YMCA when I was a young teenager. That really shaped how I feel about giving back and gratitude and things like that. And then in corporate environment, I also was always on the teams that did community service and things like that. And then now as a teacher, I am involved in obviously serving students and being there for them and at that capacity. So there is such thing as servanthood in practice, and you can see it on the screen, but teachers who are servants they notice the little things about students. They see their potential when they can't see it themselves. They listen more than they talk, and that is truly what we do in teaching and education. And they're great learners, and that's true even now. I love listening to my students' stories, and I truly feel like that my students have something to teach me as much as I do them. And then keeping it real, I say it all the time. I feel like that in order for students to relate and anyone to relate as a servant, you need to be able to be on people's levels and keep it real, and then just seize the opportunities, any opportunity you can to help people succeed and help push people up and encourage them to give it their all. That to me is what embodies servanthood. And so building teachers as servants is so important to create an environment that teachers feel like they can have autonomy in making decisions that really impact their students. And so some of these things that you see on the screen, model servant leadership, that prune and position teachers to their strengths, play an active role in working with teachers and providing and cultivating many leadership opportunities. All of those things give teachers the autonomy to feel like they can grow with the institution. Servanthood is about growing. Servanthood is about growing others. And when you grow others, you become a great leader because people look up to you and really respect and trust your opinion. And then before you go, one of the things that I had an interview with a leadership member at a different school this last semester, and a funny story he told me that I thought was the embodiment of servanthood was that he had a family friend and their child started attending his school, and so the family friend on the first day of school came back and they said, "How was your first day of school?" And the child says, "Oh, well, it was good." And he said, "Well, well, did you see Mr. Smith? And he said, yes. And so the child indicated that he thought that Mr. Smith was a custodian. And Mr. Smith is actually an assistant principal. But because he was walking the hallways and he was picking up trash and things like that, the child thought that he was a custodian. So I think that truly set the example. That was a great story for him to share with me. And I think it's just a great story as an example of servanthood. And that concludes my presentation. The references are actually on the PowerPoint. If you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you so much for your time.